Welcome back to episode 4. Sorry, it's 8. Episode 4 or SportsCast with Dre and Alex. It's your boy Dre, it's your boy Alex. Today we have a special guest, my boy Albert. Albert, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. I'm having a really great night. Did really good on my exam today. I bet we did. Or no, we
Yeah,
did.
finals
A lot
week,
easier than
man.
last time.
Yeah, finals week. It's been rough, but you know what? We got this. We strong. We gonna push through it. But let's get straight to the cut. The rankings, man. The top 4 teams in college football now. What was it? It was Michigan at 1. Who was that 2? Washington
Washington.
at 2. Freaking Texas at 3 and Alabama at 4. Alex, tell me how Alabama got in, man. Please just tell me. Please tell me your opinion on this, and then we'll work our way around the circle pretty much.
Okay. How they got in is they're SEC champions. I mean, if you want the simple answer, they're SEC champions. They beat the number 1 team in the nation. They are looking like one of the best teams in football right now. Now, caveat to that, in my opinion, is what did the committee just tell the whole country, right? They told them that the ACC is a Power 5 conference, but are they really a Power 5 conference,
Yeah, like are they really them,
Because it almost seems like to me, no matter Florida State, it wasn't a pretty win against Louisville, but guess what? They beat Louisville. They won the ACC championship game. They went undefeated. They went 13-0, 12-0, 13-0, won their conference. You're basically telling Florida State, well, your superstar quarterback's hurt. You're not that good. And we're going to punish the whole team. And as much as I love seeing at least one Southeastern Conference team in, if it was me, it would be Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State. Or flip that around, Florida State at number 3 since they're undefeated.
Yeah, I don't understand that part either. How Texas magically jumps them too. I don't understand that part either.
And they jumped Ohio State too.
Yeah, exactly. They just I understand like they're conference champs of the Big 12, but it's just like the ACC is still the ACC. Like I personally feel like I'm trying to be non-biased here, but it's kind of hard to do that, right? I can't stand Bama, but I'm trying to be non-biased here, but it's just like I don't see how a team can go undefeated, run the table against 13 opponents, win the the ACC championship, a Power 5 conference, like you said, but at the end of the day, it means nothing because you didn't make the playoffs. So I saw a video earlier. It was like, what's the point of playing a regular season if the regular season doesn't mean anything? Because basically what Alabama did was based off the postseason and not the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they beat the team in the postseason, then it's just like, all of a sudden they're champs or they're in the playoff. But it's just like, Florida State played all 13 games where they never lost. Yeah. I feel like it's the one loss really that bothers me about it because, like, I understand if you're like an FCS school, like JMU or Liberty, Liberty's undefeated, right? But you're not gonna put them in a playoff, obviously, because they're gonna get smoked by somebody. But if you're playing Power 5 opponents, obviously it's not the SEC, right? We all know that. But if you're playing a Power 5 opponent, I feel like it should still be worthy enough to get you into the playoff.
Agreed.
Well, what I can say is Alabama is currently like the most deserving, resilient team right now. Like they currently, well, not currently, but about around week 2, they faced a lot of adversity when they lost double digits to Texas at home. And next game, when they were in Tampa against South Florida, they were worried about the quarterbacks because they weren't sure that Jalen Milroe was going to be the best starting quarterback going forward. So that's why they put Tyler Buckner and Ty Simpson in for to play against South Florida. And of course they may have struggled because they couldn't find their identity. But then a couple weeks after, or probably next week, Jalen Milroe got back to start, and all I could say is that game against Texas really gave him a lot of motivation to be great. and that's what started the streak. That's why he took down Tennessee, LSU, Auburn with that 4th and 31.
Okay,
And
well, my question to you would be then, like, how is it that it took them, like, they barely beat us by a miracle play, but when Louisville beats a Power 5 team by 10, they like, nah, but they barely beat, not the greatest Auburn team, a 6-6 Auburn team at the time, or 6-5 Auburn team, and they struggled against us pretty much the entire game until the last play. Like, how did they overlook that as well? And you see the USF game, I think it was, the South Florida game you said, that game was like 3-3 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
How does a committee
0-3, I think.
How does a committee overlook those games that Alabama played so badly? But when Florida State does, it's a problem, right? Florida State, yeah, they don't have a quarterback right now, a set quarterback, but they have like one of the top defenses in the country. That defense could carry them all the way. Defense wins championships, at the end of the day. So it's like, how do you just forget about that just to put Bama in? I feel like it's more of a marketing thing. I saw on ESPN earlier where it was kind of just like, it was more of like the brand, like the Alabama brand, the SEC brand, where it's more about like money and economics than it is actually putting teams in there, because Alabama, everybody knows Alabama, right? So It's just like they're gonna try to put them in because that's why they're gonna get the most views, the most revenue from it. I feel like it's kind of what the decision was in that too.
Yes, of course, because Alabama is like the most entertaining team to watch right now. Of course, they put them in for TV ratings because they're good offensively and defensively. They can provide a much entertaining game against big Power 5 opponents like that. That's why they put them in instead of Florida State. They don't want to put Florida State in with an injured with Jordan Travis out because he was entertaining. He was the reason why Florida State was as good as they are. But I mean, it is true that that a team can't be defined by just their quarterback play. Like, there's also got to be good defense, like other good offensive schemes and players and stuff. But, it's just Alabama. Like, everybody wants to watch Alabama. Alabama football is like the most entertaining football you can get. So that's why they put them up there in the rankings. And I think I can understand.
I would argue with that. Like, I feel like I hate the Pac-12. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the Pac-12 is honestly more entertaining to watch because they're always scoring. They're always scoring. Scores like 60-60. I feel like those games are hella entertaining. No defense in the games. I feel like I used to be more of a defensive person, but I feel like now I love watching shootouts. I don't know why I love shootouts. It's so intense. It's hectic. All of it. And I feel like I don't think Florida State obviously would have been a shootout with a third-string quarterback in, but it's just like, also, it's okay to have a defensive game every once in a while. It's part of the game. It's still football.
Yeah, it's good, but the Pac-12 sure did have a lot of offense, a good bit of offensive shootouts and stuff. But the SEC championship, in my opinion, was a little bit more entertaining, even though it was like a little bit less scoring. There was a lot of offense, but a lot of defense too. It's just everything all around. Plus, it's the last SEC on CBS game, so who wouldn't want to see that? Hell, I even went to the game and spent like over $700 for a ticket because that's how I knew this game was going to be entertaining.
I wouldn't have done anything like that personally, unless it was Auburn playing.
Yeah,
me
the only
personally,
he was playing.
me personally, I wouldn't have did that. But you were a brave soul. But me personally, I wouldn't have did anything like that.
I respect it.
But pretty much getting back to the point, like I see why they're in, but I don't think it's very ethical for them to be in. I feel like Florida State was more deserving, and yeah, it's about the 4 best teams. And that's the case, to put Georgia back in there too, because Georgia will smoke Texas, Georgia will smoke Florida State, Georgia, they played again on flight, they'll be better against Bama. So it's like, if it's really the best 4 teams, why not put Georgia back in there?
Well, yeah, but I mean, still they got Alabama took down the 2-time defending champions. I mean, what other team could take down the 2-time defending champions?
We almost did.
Other than Nick Saban.
We almost did. We suck.
We almost did, but too bad our defense collapsed.
Yeah, they took for them the last shot to beat us, just like Alabama took them the last shot to beat us. I don't see how all these things are so overlooked. Like, that's my point I'm getting at. It's all these bad games both teams had get overlooked, even though Florida State had a couple bad games, yes. But I feel like they don't factor in, Alabama's bad games too, because their games honestly were worse than freaking Alabama's bad games. But Alabama bad games were bad games. The Texas game was awful to watch, for at least if you're a Crimson Tide fan, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just feel like they weren't held to this. Like Florida State was held to a much higher standard than Alabama was, just because, like I said, I feel like it's an economic thing. It's kind of like marketing and stuff like that. Trying to get most viewers, and I feel like they kind of screwed over Florida State, And it's just like I feel like we cannot be biased because the team's in a certain conference and stuff like that. You have to be fair to the game. At the end of the day, Florida State players, they bust their ass every day, just like Alabama players do. They still should come out and play with a rushing quarterback. Defense still locks up regardless, And the score could have been in 3-0 in the freaking semifinal. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think they were thinking more economically than anything, man. And it's kind of sad to see that. And honestly, this year would have been a perfect year for the 12-team playoff. Too bad we don't get that till next year, but this year would have been perfect for it, I feel like.
If I may add one thing real quick before we move on. If Florida State really wants to make a statement, beat Georgia.
Honestly, if I was Florida State, I wouldn't even play the bowl game, man. It's not worth it. For why? For why?
I know, but maybe just for not like for standing or anything, for your players, man. Because those guys are let down. So come out, make a statement, beat the Southeastern Conference runner-up. I don't even think at that point you don't even have to you don't have to beat them soundly. You don't have to beat the crap out of them, really. Just come out, play a good game, beat Georgia. To me, that's a statement right there, saying hey, look, we beat the former number one team. Why were we not in?
But see, then I feel like everybody will be like, "Oh, Georgia just isn't Georgia anymore." Like they'll make excuses for Georgia.
That's good counter argument. I don't know, man. I hate it because I'm not a Florida State fan by no means. But
Georgia did have a very close game against Alabama. They still played like champions. They still put up 3 touchdowns. They stayed in the game, especially with the late touchdown from Kendall Milton. They still wanted it. They're still hungry. But again, it's Nick Saban. It's Alabama. They were hungrier. But at the same time, Georgia is still a good team. And to be honest, I think they have a really good shot at beating Florida State because even though they are the healthier team, they're just the more consistent. That's why they were undefeated before they went to the SEC championship game. So
I have a counter argument to that. If they're so consistent, why did they barely beat Georgia Tech the week prior? They beat them by a score of 31-23, and it's Georgia Tech, man.
Well, it is a rivalry game, and Georgia Tech was going to come out swinging.
But as a 2-time national champ back-to-back, 28 game win streak going into that game, you're supposed to beat them pretty heftily, not by just one score.
Yeah, true, but Georgia last year they nearly lost to Mizzou, yet they still won the national champion. They're going to have a couple close games, and they're of course going to run some bumps through the road, but at the same time, they're going to face adversity. They're going to come back resilient. They're going to find a way to keep winning. So that's just how I see the Georgia football program as a whole.
Yeah, and that was my argument too last week on the podcast. It was kind of just like Georgia to start the game kind of inconsistently. They played down to their opponents. And I was saying this last week too, where it was it's going to be that one team they play down to them and trail going into halftime. That one team's going to take over the game and they're going to regret, playing down in their level. And that's what happened this past week too. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, they were down going into halftime too. And it was just it's not looking good because, Nick Saban not going to have none of that, blowing leads and stuff like that. So it's just when Georgia plays down to their opponent in the first half and they come out second half, not every team's going to give you that second half. It's either you start now or you're done. And that's what Alabama took advantage of this past week too. Alabama just, man, I feel like they beat them in every phase of the game. The score was close, but I really don't feel like the game was close watching it, I feel like Alabama was kind of dominant that whole game. Georgia didn't really come to play, Only thing sketchy about the Alabama game, about the Alabama side of it though, is that one catch from I forgot his name, but that catch wasn't a catch, and that's what kind of gave them momentum too. What was his name? That one receiver who caught the 4th and 31 against us?
Isaiah Bond?
Yeah, Bond, yeah. That pass he had, that was not a catch. And I feel like that gave them momentum right there. From then, Alabama never looked back from there. They scored on that same drive, and They just kind of ran away with it from there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
kind of
we can say that Alabama is kind of like having almost about the same season as Auburn in 10 years back. They needed a couple miracles to get into the playoffs or the national championship, but I think since Alabama's kind of in that same situation as there, Auburn lost to the national champions that year. I think it's probably going to be the same for Alabama because Alabama's we may have thought Georgia was the best team in the country, but I don't think Alabama's has faced either Michigan, Washington yet. But I think they're going to have a much bigger challenge coming forward. But in my opinion, I just don't see Alabama winning the national. I think at at best they'll make it to the national championship, but they'll lose to Washington. That's my prediction. What do y'all have?
go ahead, Alex.
Okay. I've thought about this a lot, and I'm going to call it right now. Alabama, Texas national championship. It's controversial, I know. Alabama, Texas national championship.
Oh
Alabama takes it and wins it in a close game. Because I don't think
man,
this Alabama team now is going to lose to this Texas team now. Now, I could be wrong, as I usually am, but here's why. I don't believe in the Pac-12 at all. I don't believe in a Pac-12 team. I don't believe in a Pac-12 defense, but I believe in an SEC defense.
yeah,
Do I think so? What it'll be Washington, it'll be Michigan and Alabama, Texas, Washington playing. So Texas Washington game, Big 12. Like to me, Big 12 is a better conference. I think when it comes to like complete football team, you know. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I think Texas beats Washington. I really do because Texas has a better defense. Now, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be a problem. He always is a problem. The dude is good. No matter what conference he's playing in, the dude is good. I mean, he's a Heisman finalist for a reason, you know? I mean, the guy's electric. He's great. He's awesome. But I just don't think he's going to face even with the defense is kind of like Texas a little up and down this year, they
mm-hmm.
haven't really faced a defense like that. So I think it's going to throw him for a loop. But I think Texas does enough to win that game. Now, when it comes to Alabama, Michigan, Michigan did not impress me against Iowa. They really did not. I was watching that game, and like, if Iowa had a half decent offense, they could have won that game. Iowa has a really good defense, and that, not to get off track, worries me in our bowl game, but that's whatever. But
Oh, y'all play Iowa?
we do play Iowa in the
Yeah.
not Citrus Bowl. It might
The
be
Cheez It. It's like Cheez It Bowl, I think, right?
It Bowl.
like that.
No, Pop Tarts Bowl. It's the Pop Tarts Bowl now.
Pop Tarts
Is
Bowl.
it Bell Helicopter Bowl? Anyway, Alabama's going to beat Michigan. I just think they will. I don't think I really need to go much in depth in that.
Look, here's what I'm gonna do.
I don't want to see it, but I'm just being honest. Alabama takes Michigan. I think, hear me out. I think by 2 scores. I really do. I really think Alabama comes
That's
in
fair.
and off Michigan.
That's very fair.
I think they come in and play that hard-nosed football that the SEC and Alabama is known for playing. And Michigan just is not going to be able to handle it. They're just not. And so I'm calling Alabama, Texas, and I think this Alabama team now is better than this Texas team now, and Alabama takes it this year, sadly.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm always wrong, baby. Every team I root for never goes correctly. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw a curveball in there, baby. So look, here's what's gonna happen, right? Alabama, right? They're gonna beat Michigan pretty hefty, right? It's in Pasadena, California. I'll be like down the street from there when they play that game. So hopefully I don't see no Roll Tide fans over there, Crimson Tide fans over there. And because Pasadena's like probably 30 minutes from where I'm gonna be at.
30 minutes away from LA.
Yeah, it's from LA, but I'm like opposite direction from LA, so I'll be like 30 minutes from Pasadena. I pretty much live 30 minutes from Pasadena as well, so like I'll be in that general area as well. And I just pray I don't see any Alabama fans there because I would hate my life because I'm supposed to be repping my Auburn here no matter where I go. War Eagle. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think I'm gonna say Alabama is gonna beat them pretty hefty, and then the Washington Texas game. It's really hard to determine, but I feel like Texas defense, man, they have a great defense. They have just great defense. They have a great defensive, like they play hard nosed football. Like they're not scared to hit. They come up and hit you in the mouth, and I feel like Washington will not be able to handle that. And I feel like Texas will pull that out. Right, we'll have a rematch from the game earlier this year. Both teams, or Alabama's one loss, and I feel like this time though, Alabama they won't lose to the same team twice. I don't think they would, but it's possible. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't think they will. I think Texas is going to lose in the national championship, and it'll be Alabama on top. But also, I don't want to sleep on the Texas team as well. This Texas team is actually really good. You know, they're coming to the SEC next year, and I hate that as an SEC on SEC. You know, I almost said Super Bowl, national championship, because I hate them both. Now I have to hate Texas because they're in the SEC too. The only SEC team that I really like is probably Missouri, but I feel like Alabama's gonna end up pulling through. Honestly, like honest opinion. I hope I'm wrong, yes, but I feel like that's just what's gonna happen. If we're being realistic, because I don't. Jim Harbaugh, I love Jim Harbaugh. I love John Harbaugh too. I love them both. And I just feel like he's not going to be able to outcoach Nick Saban pretty much. And they fall in the first round again this year. I feel like, to rewind a little bit, I feel like another reason why they didn't put in Florida State into the playoff as well, because of what TCU did last year, how they got embarrassed in the national championship. So I don't think the committee wants to take that chance again, pretty much, and just be like, they're just like, yeah, no game, no more games being played. We gave y'all 1 year. TCU messed it up. Now it's ruined for everybody, But I also feel like it's not fair to let one bad apple ruin the whole patch, because we all know those stories of Ohio State back in 2014 when Cardale Jones, I think it was, that came in for whoever it was. I think it was JT Barrett, I think, and they won a national championship. So I really you just really never know. Any given Saturday, everybody knows about college, man. It's any given Saturday.
Yep.
And I just hate it for Florida State, hate it for their fans. I know that if Auburn was in that spot, I'll be mad. But it's hard, man. It's hard. So somebody had to get left out, and I hate that with Florida State.
And, I think I'll agree with both of you. I do not think Michigan impresses me either. They had way too many narrow wins against like Maryland, Iowa. Like they're just like very inconsistent. Like, and I don't see like JJ McCarthy. People said like he was like a Heisman candidate like way earlier in the year, but I think he's really just fallen apart. And coming from me being in Alabama last semester, it would kind of suck missing out on the national championship while being on the other side of the state, man. That would just like really make me upset. I'm just saying. So I'm with you. I kind of don't want Alabama to win the national championship. Just want to say that.
I don't want Texas to win either, because their fans freaking suck, bro. Oh my god, I hate Texas fans so much. Respectfully, I hate y'all so much. It's like the Cowboys, man. It's like every year. This year's our year. It's our year. It's our year, and every year it's the same thing, man. This year they're better than last year. Like, yeah, hook 'em. Yeah, I'm just like, but I hate both fan bases. Both fan bases I feel like are obnoxious and stuff like that. I look like the team I don't necessarily hate is the fans I don't really like, other than Alabama. Obviously, I gotta hate Alabama.
Alabama fans are like the most spoiled fan base in college football. I think we can all agree on that.
I feel like honestly, I feel like Auburn fans are more loyal because
I spoiled.
Oh, I think you said loyal. I was like, because
Alabama fans are really spoiled.
We were down bad. We had a first-year head coach, and we sold out every single home game this year. I feel like it doesn't get more loyal than that. We were 6-6. Even the Mexico State game was an awful game to watch, but everybody stayed till the end, man.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just feel like that. Man, I would hate to see him win. I hate it. I don't want either of them to win. Honestly, I'm rooting for Washington because I wanted Oregon. I want Oregon to make the playoff, honestly, because of Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix, but obviously they didn't get the job done. I feel like that. Even okay, let's switch to that. Actually, that Pac-12 championship, right? I feel like Oregon let down Bo Nix. Like not Oregon, like the team, like defense. Defense was getting thrashed the entire game. It felt like you couldn't get a stop. And Oregon did start slow on offense, but it's just like defense. You still gotta be there. You still gotta show up, and they did not show up at all. They couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass. They were getting head tapped left and right, and it just feels like Washington almost dominated that game. It didn't feel very close than like what the final score said, pretty much.
Yeah, and that pick that Bo Nix threw, that was like the second pick he threw that was like actually his fault. The last time he threw a pick like that was against Colorado. He had another pick, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, against USC or Oregon State, either one of the two. He was throwing a pass to his adopted brother Tez Johnson, but he dropped it and it fell into a defender's hands. But he only has like two bad interceptions this season, and like 46 total touchdowns. Like, I still feel like this Heisman conversation between Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix will still be very close. Like, or Bo Nix just has more wins, more passing yards, more touchdowns. But Jaden Daniels plays like a video game character. However, his losses and turnovers will possibly hold him back. So I wonder, who do y'all have for Heisman?
No, actually, I was going to say that conversation for next week because there's no games this weekend other than Army Navy. So I kind of want to say that topic for next week.
Okay.
We're going to put that in the back of our mind. Think about that over the next week. But we need some topics for next week because there's no games this weekend. So we're going to say, I'm going to write that down actually, so I don't forget about that too. But yeah, we're going to say that topic. We got to reserve that. We can't talk about everything in one sitting. We gotta think about the off weeks too, because we're gonna have like 2 weeks or nothing, pretty much. So yeah, we need some conversations. You know what I'm saying? But back to the Pac-12 championship. Yeah, I just feel like the defense of Oregon really let Bo Nix down, and like I said, it's hard to watch. I hate seeing Bo Nix towel over his head. It reminded me of his Auburn days when we were, not the greatest. Our program was a dumpster fire, and I was really rooting for Bo Nix. I was really rooting for him, and I hate to see him go out like that for his last year. He's going to go to the league next year, most likely. Yeah, I think he'll be a second round pick, honestly.
Let's see, second or third.
Yeah, second or third round. But I feel like I was really rooting for him. I'm kind of upset myself that he wasn't able to make it to the big time after transferring from Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a Bo Nix fan too. I remember watching him come in his freshman year against Oregon of all teams, and just like one of my favorite college football games ever. That I had nothing tied to whatsoever, but like
had everything tied to it. That's when I was introduced to Justin Herbert, man. That's when I first saw Justin Herbert play. And I fell in love, man. Y'all know my addiction now. I love me some Herbo, man. That's when my addiction came to play.
Amazing. And I thought Bo Nix for sure. I was like, this guy is going to be like first round, first pick when he gets to the draft. And then, he kind of had a little lull there for a little bit. But, man, that dude lit it up this year. I mean, just lit it up.
He did the same thing last year, too, though.
Yeah, he did. But
but the first game, we all really thought he was going to do terrible with Oregon with that 3 interception game against Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
But but you can tell that he adjusted pretty quickly right after that game, and now he's going to New York, and I think most of Auburn, I think we're all proud of him.
Yeah, like I said, I never had a problem with Bo Nix. Like, honestly, here we all call him Bo Picks, but I feel like it was more of a coaching thing than anything because the coaching here was god awful. I think it was Go Mazon last year when Bo was a true freshman. Then we brought in Harsin for 2 years, and Harsin obviously god awful. And I feel like just under so many coaches, like he was like 3 coaches in like 4 years or something like that, and he was never able to really settle in here at Auburn, And at Oregon, he had consistency, he had great receivers, he had great coaching, and he was able to succeed in a great system. I'm not saying he's a system quarterback, no, but I feel like Oregon used him to his advantages, which we failed to do, and we see why he's succeeding so much. And I feel like in NFL, that could transpire there too, where it's just like if you put him in the right place, the right coaching, he could be really great in the NFL as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bo Nix has been a stud like that. Even in high school. As a matter of fact, I saw Bo Nix take on my high school Hoover when he was in Pinson Valley. It was Hoover versus Pinson Valley. As a matter of fact, he was taking on who's now the backup quarterback, Robbie Ashford in Hoover. It was Bo versus Robbie. However, Hoover won the game. I believe it was like 46 something to like 14 because Robbie had more weapons than Hoover, including now Pittsburgh Steeler George Pickens and Larry McCammon, who was who played running back for FAU, but now I believe yesterday or 2 days back, he just declared for the NFL draft. So Robbie had more weapons, but Robbie, even though he's still being the backup,
so we'll kind of end that at that. We're gonna start converting over to the big leagues, the NFL. So my question to start with is, are the Cowboys really them boys, right? Because everybody has the Cowboys. We all know this. We hate their fans. Their fans are probably the worst fans in all of football. But it's they beat the Seahawks. I think it was Thursday Night Football in AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, or Arlington, Texas. It was a really high scoring game. The game was pretty close. Gino probably could let a game winning drive, but he probably wrote back already now to say, as he said last year, they wrote me off. I ain't right back. I feel like now he did right back. And, as a Seahawks fan, that was it wasn't like, it was a great game to watch because our offense is finally clicking, it felt like. Because the last couple of games, zero offense, right? It was like we've scored 13 points throughout the whole 60 minutes pretty much. And the Seahawks offense looked amazing, but the Cowboys offense looked even better. So I guess my question is, how far, if at all, do y'all see the Cowboys going into postseason? Alex, we'll start with you.
Well, do you want my logical answer or my I hate the Dallas Cowboys answer? Which one do you want first?
I want the logical anser because we all know we hate the Cowboys. Let's establish that now. We all hate the Cowboys. We all know.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, it's going to hurt saying this, man. But this Dallas Cowboys team looks like they're poised to make a deep playoff run. They really do. They're good on both sides of the ball. Dak's probably playing his best football he's played in his career. But, I mean, no, for real. They have a really good team, good receivers. I mean, they're tearing it up. I mean, in the state, they know how to win ball games. And that's something that, in my opinion, you really can't say about a lot of these past years' Cowboys teams. They were always the meme, the joke, the meme you'd see on like Facebook at the beginning of the season, like, you're like, gonna go ahead and get this out of the way, and it says Dallas Cowboys eliminated. It's a pic of Dak crying.
Yeah.
We love to hear Stephen A. laugh after every Cowboys loss.
Exactly. I feel like I'm the Stephen A. Smith of this podcast.
Trust me. No, trust me. When they lose, I'm bringing out the hat, man. It's gonna be a great day.
But God, they are good. They are good, and if I could see a year where we them boys is finally maybe them boys, it's this year. But the NFC is stacked, not trailing off, but they're not going to have an easy time getting to that Super Bowl. They are not at all.
Oh, no, of course not. They got the Eagles this week, so that would be kind of the main test of their. Yeah, go Birds for sure. That would be the main test there if they have a decent or if a playoff run at all, because they're not beating the 49ers. You seen the 49ers embarrassed them when they first played them. And the 49ers just embarrassed the Eagles last week. So it's just like, I feel like Cowboys are them boys, but I don't see them going very far because the Niners, man, they're looking real good. I hate to say it as a Seahawks fan, but we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Albert, what's your opinion on the Cowboys this year?
Well, I could see that the Dallas Cowboys have like their hardest stretch of the season. They have the Eagles in their place. However, they are going to have two really tough road games. They're going to go to Buffalo right after in Orchard Park, which has a very intimidating atmosphere over there. And then right after, they will go to Miami to face the 9-3 Dolphins, which is the game I might be possibly going to when I'm down in Miami for Christmas.
Nice.
But I think the Bills. I mean, not the Bills. I think the Cowboys will go 1-2 in the 3-game stretch. I think they will lose to the Eagles and the Dolphins. I got them losing to them two opponents. And in the playoffs, I mean, the Cowboys are like, I think this is the best Cowboys team that I'm seeing right now in like a couple of years. I think they can make a pretty good deep playoff run, but let's be real, they're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not.
Right. No, of course not. Disrespectfully.
It's not happening. It's just not happening. I just don't think they have the consistency to make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think the Cowboys, even though they only have 3 losses, I think they're still pretty inconsistent. Like, how could you lose to the 2-10, I believe, Arizona Cardinals? Well, I mean, Josh Dobbs is good, but still, they're the Cardinals. You can't lose to a team like that.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back to when I was talking about the 49ers, right? So as of right now, right, Brock Purdy is the MVP front runner.
Mm-hmm.
How? I don't see that because me personally,
Iowa State, I said it. This guy is going to be special. I said it. I watched him play like 2 or 3 games in college because, I mean, I don't watch Iowa State. I don't care. But I just team, and I was like, man, this guy, he's good, and he's not getting the attention these other guys are getting. Mr. Irrelevant is relevant. That's all I'm saying.
I personally feel like I'm trying to be non-biased here, but I'm a Seahawks fan. But I'm gonna keep it real, right? I'm gonna say it from a Seahawks fan point of view and a whole league point of view, right? He's playing on a freaking super team, man. You can't. How can you mess that up? You play on a super team. You got arguably the best offensive coach in football, other than like Lincoln Riley or something like that. But it's just like I would give CMC the MVP over him because at the end of the day, Brock Purdy, he throws a check down to Debo. Debo takes a 60 yards, throws a fade out to Ayuk. Like it's the same thing every week, but it's just like it's felt like it's so basic and almost any. Huh?
It works.
Man, I can throw a freaking sideways pass to Debo and he'll take it to the crib. I can do that. Yeah. Put me in for MVP then, you know? Like I'm trying to like I just don't understand. Like he has Trent Williams to his left. He has this whole team, his whole defense are Pro Bowlers. And it's hard to like I feel like if it was on a different team and not on a super team, it'll be more arguable. But we've seen what happened to the 49ers and more specifically Brock Purdy when the super team isn't there. When CMC, I think it was Trent Williams didn't play and Debo didn't play. They look like dog shit. And I feel like if you don't have a super team, then he's not him. And I feel like that's when you really get proven that you're him. Like the Chiefs with Mahomes, right? I hate Mahomes because the media and all that. Specifically, Chris Collinsworth, I hate him. But it's just like, he didn't have anything like too crazy on his team other than like Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. Other than that, it was just them two, you know, and it's just like he still gave the ball to other people too. But Purdy, he just throws the ball to Ayuk and Debo and hands the ball to CMC, or he throws a screen pass to CMC and they score. And I just feel like it's more of his team is making them look good enough to be in an MVP conversation, but I feel like him as a player, I don't feel like he's MVP caliber, pretty much, you know.
Sure.
Well, Brock Purdy has had his bad 3 games around earlier this season, but I think he's having a really good rebound. Well, when I first saw Brock Purdy against the Dolphins last year, I can see that he has some really good QB instincts. Like, he has a really smooth arm, and he also has a really good QB awareness. Like, he can escape the pocket and look for an open defender. I mean, even though he does have the weapons, he can still be a very reliable quarterback. Well, he was better than Jimmy Garoppolo because, like, he's more stationary. But Brock Purdy is a lot more mobile. Like, he can actually move around and he could find a receiver. Like Brock Purdy, I think Brock Purdy would do pretty good with probably like any other team in the almost like some other teams in the league. And like, it's because of those abilities. I feel like that's what you need for a quarterback today. Like, you need to move. Like, and sometimes if you can't find a receiver, you got to go in and take it in yourself. Like, quarterbacks should just do more than just like throw in the pocket. They need to escape out and they need to make some plays there.
I don't know, man. I'm just not quite on a Purdy train yet. I just haven't been convinced.
Hater.
To I'm trying to see where he could be in that conversation, but like I said, I give it to CMC over Brock Purdy, like the MVP, trophy.
Yeah, like
CMC has been playing lights out the whole since he joined the 49ers, and I can't really think of anybody else top of my head who could be in the MVP race. It was just
they say Dak is in conversation.
Yeah, because Dak has like the same stats as Mahomes, and the NFL's golden boy. He can do no wrong. So, so if anybody's doing better than or on the same level as Mahomes, then whoa,
A lot of people are just saying Tyreek could just like sneak up and win the MVP.
And that's another thing I saw earlier too, man. Tyreek is on pace to have 2,000 receiving yards, the first one in NFL history, and he's not even in the conversation, bro. Why is Brock Purdy in the conversation when Tyreek Hill is about to break a record that probably won't be broken again for the next 20, 30 years?
I am a Dolphins fan, and I can see Tyreek is easily one of the best receivers in the league. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
And breaking has any other receiver like hit 2,000 yards like in a season? Has that ever happened?
No, it hasn't happened. The closest one to it recently was Cooper Kupp, because he beat Calvin Johnson's record.
Well, that could be a pretty decent reason to give him MVP. But however, in my opinion, I do think Tyreek has been somewhat inconsistent in a couple games. Like, I feel like Tyreek had a couple drops against the Eagles, in which if he would have caught him, I think the Dolphins would have been in a closer game. Like, I think Tyreek just needs to work on his consistency. Like right now, like he's really fast. Like, he's good to put in an end around or jet sweep, something like that. Or you can put him in man coverage and watch him beat that opponent, watch him run past, watch him get the ball, watch him take it to the end zone for 6. Like, that's what makes him very special. But he needs to come up in big games like that. Like, he can't have a fumble and let a team win because of that, or he can't have a drop and he can't have a very crucial drop either in a game that could have his team lose the game. But like, he needs to come in at big moments. Like, I feel like if Tyreek wants to win the MVP, he needs to come in big against the Cowboys and the Ravens. But he did come big against he was clutch against the Chargers this year and even last year against the Baltimore Ravens when Tua had that 6 touchdown pass game because he got open and he just did his thing. But he needs to do it a couple more times this season if he wants to win MVP, in my opinion.
All right.
Go ahead, Alex. I think I interrupted you. My fault.
You really did, man. You're all good, brother. You're all good.
You're all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're kind of gonna go a little bit sideways now. Kind of want to get y'all predictions for this week's games coming up on Sunday/Thursday and Monday. Like I said, like we did the first couple weeks, we're gonna pick, like 2 or 3 of the pretty much games of the week, what we'll call them, and kind of just give me y'all prediction on them pretty much. So we'll start with the Bills and the Chiefs. I believe this game is in Arrowhead. Yes, it's in Arrowhead. We all know Josh Allen is very inconsistent, and so I'll start off pretty much. Josh Allen is very inconsistent with his game, right? He's either Peyton Manning or he's freaking I don't know, Trevor Siemian or something like that, to where he's either in the MVP race or he's not. And I feel like this week we'll get that Josh Allen that turns the ball over a lot to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs will beat them pretty heftily because the Chiefs are not the Chiefs this year so far. And I feel like this will be their bounce back game to where they kind of just like just go crazy on offense. They might put up 40 on them. Honestly, the way it's looking. What's y'all opinion on that?
Go ahead.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, thank you. Well, Josh Allen obviously has the better weapons in Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Dalton Kincaid. And the Chiefs, well, Patrick Mahomes has Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He has well, he does have Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice. I think Rashee Rice is having an incredible rookie season, in my opinion. But I just do think the Chiefs just has been struggling a lot lately with being clutch. Like you see MVS dropping that wide open ball, Kadarius Toney having like probably the worst game a receiver could have in a game against the Lions in the very first game of the NFL season. But I think the Bills will find their rhythm once again. I think Josh Allen will be Josh Allen, be mobile, use his arm, use his instincts. Stephon Diggs uses his playmaking, Gabe Davis as well. I think I got the Bills winning this time. I'd say 27 to 20. 27 to 20 Bills.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I'm going to take a real second to plug this real quick. Go Pack Go, baby. Beating the Chiefs in Lambeau. Beating Chris Collinsworth's boyfriend and Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Beating them.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
They can keep Taylor Swift. We got Simone Biles and we got Wheezy F, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Wheezy, baby.
Jordan Love's finally looking like a draft pick that we should have drafted. Anyway, so getting to this game this week. I think it's going to be a good one. I think both teams are pretty evenly matched in terms of talent. The Bills are, they're here, they're there, they're over there, they're over there. You don't know. And that falls on Josh. You don't know what Josh Allen is going to get. Like Forrest Gump said, except instead of chocolates, it's Josh Allen. You never know what you're going to get. So, and then honestly, though, I mean, all Chris Collinsworth and Taylor Swift jokes aside, the Chiefs are not the Chiefs this year, but I think they're better than the Bills. I'm taking the Chiefs at home. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a high-scoring game. I'm going to say 27-34 Chiefs.
That's a fair score. So I give my prediction, but I didn't give my score. So I say my guess for a score would be, I think the Chiefs really do put a 40 burger on them for like redemption. I think it'll be 42 to maybe like 31 or something like that.
High score.
Yeah, I think it'll be somewhere in there because Josh Allen, I feel like he'll be using his legs more this game than he usually does. So I feel like that'll kind of play a factor with like the Bills' offense. So he doesn't really have to throw the ball as much because, like I said before, he's either Peyton Manning or he's freaking Trevor Siemian. So I feel like they're gonna start making him use his legs a little bit more. But for the next game I want to talk about, we got the Eagles and the Cowboys. The game's in AT&T Stadium, Sunday Night Football. Eagles in at 10-2, Cowboys are at 9-3. Let's start with you, Alex. Who you got in that one?
The Eagles did not look good against the 49ers.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I know we hit a lot on the 49ers, but the Eagles just didn't look like the Eagles. From start to finish, they did not play a complete football game. I think they bounce back this week. I think that they're going to get together because I believe in Jalen Hurts. I believe in that offensive line. I believe in that team. I mean, I'm a Packers fan by trade, but I respect the Philadelphia Eagles. I do. And they put together a great team. And as much as I hate to say it, so are the Cowboys. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. I feel like, again, both teams are pretty evenly matched when you get down. I really think they are.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this, but I think the Cowboys got it because it's in Dallas, correct? If I
Yeah,
remember.
it's in Dallas. Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
Yep,
they already faced in Philly.
yep, that's right. Remind me who took that game? Was it the Eagles that took that
The
game?
Eagles. The
That's right.
Cowboys were unable to make a game-winning drive, even though they had all those penalties to get closer.
That's right. I remember that. Okay, cool. I'm saying Dallas takes this one. I think I think the Eagles are going to drop 2 in a row. But I think after this, though, I think they're going to get together. But I just don't. The way Dallas is playing hot right now, how they played a pretty complete game, I would say, against the Seahawks, and the Eagles just got their tails whipped. Like they got their tails whipped. I think they're still going to be riding that a little bit. They dropped this one this Sunday. Score wise, toughy. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say 28-14. I think Cowboys are gonna kind of run away with it in a little bit. I'm gonna say about 28-14. That's my
Say the
prediction.
Eagles only score 14 points again, man.
Yeah, I do. I think the Eagles are gonna hit a slump last week and this week because I think they're just still running with their tails tucked between their legs right now after that whooping they just got Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers.
That Debo Samuel put on them. Let's be more specific. That Debo Samuel put on them.
Whatever.
Let's be for real
But
right now.
28-14 Cowboys at
3
home.
TDs from Debo Samuel, not Brock Purdy. Come on now. Be for real
Your
with
mic
yourself.
sounded awkward when you got close to it.
I'm trying to prove a point. I'm turning the mic up. Debo Samuel, not Brock Purdy. Look, let's come back to this. Look, Debo stood on business, bro. He pulled up with some black Air Forces standing on business, bro.
He did. He was.
And he gave them the business, bro. I don't care about no Brock Purdy, man. Debo is him. He gave him the business, bro. He took that whole offseason of trash talking to the heart, bro. He gave him the business. Like, oh man, But yeah, we'll get back on track here. So I'm gonna give my prediction. So I feel like you really don't know with the Eagles, man. It's like I said after last week's beatdown, but even with the beatdown, quote unquote, like it was a close game, pretty much until the fourth quarter. Like it was like 23 to like 19 or some shit like that. It was a pretty close game, but then all of a sudden San Francisco started running away with it. I think that's when was it Dre Greenlaw slammed Devontae Smith on the sideline, and that dude got ejected, and Dre Greenlaw got ejected. But I feel like the Eagles will not take that loss very lightly. They don't take that very personal. And they're going to see the 49ers again, I feel like, in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But I feel like for this weekend, I feel like the Eagles do bounce back from that loss to San Francisco because they're going to stand on business this time. They're going to be the ones wearing the black Air Forces with the hoodies on and pulling up to AT&T Stadium. And I feel like they're going to put the Cowboys to rest. They're going to be like, y'all still them boys? No, y'all not. Go sit down and have a seat. And I got the score on this one. It's gonna be high scoring again because I feel like the Dallas offense has really woken up. I feel like the Eagles offense is gonna bounce back from that kind of horrid second half they had last game. I'll say this score is gonna be 31-24 Eagles. That's what I say.
I agree with you, Dre. I think the Eagles will come back. Like, the Eagles are coming off a very tough loss against the 49ers. And look what they did to the Dolphins after Jalen Hurts threw 3 picks against the Jets at MetLife. They don't take their loss. They take their losses very seriously. Like, if they have a loss, they're going to overcome adversity and they're going to go in and kick some ass. I think the Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts will have or not just Jalen Hurts. I think the Eagles in general will have a much better game against the Cowboys. I'd say around the same thing as your score prediction, Dre. I think it'll be what was your score prediction?
31-24.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 31-24 as well for the Eagles. Like the Eagles are going to come back fighting. Like they're the best team in the league for a reason. Like they are. Every single position they have are like absolute powerhouses.
Yeah, like the Eagles team has some dogs on them, man. Like literal Georgia Bulldogs. Like half their team is Georgia from Georgia. Like half of their defense, I should say, is from
Yeah.
Georgia. So that's why they got that dog in them. You feel me? I hate Georgia too, but they got that dog in. I will admit. But yeah, I just feel like they're gonna bounce back, man. They're not gonna drop 2 in a row,
I'll be
respectfully.
the odd man. I'll take that. I'll be the odd man.
Yeah, you take that, and when we come back next week, I want you to know that I was correct. And I think the 49ers play, the 49ers and Seahawks this week. It's in Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. So we'll kind of end it with that one. So I'll start it. So I think the 49ers are still going to stand on business, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I think honestly, I think they beat the shit out of the Seahawks because I feel like unless our offense shows up again, then I feel like it's going to be a very bad game for us because our defense right now, we look like dog water. And I feel like we really need to bounce back on offense in order to make the game kind of close, But I feel like the 49ers are going to beat the Seahawks pretty hefty. I'm a Seahawks fan, but I keep it real at the same time. If the offense doesn't show up, then I have a score of I'm gonna go with 34 to 20 or 21 in this one for the 49ers on top. I think Debo is gonna have another great game. CMC is gonna do what he always does, and the 49ers defense just continues to dominate, man. Let's go to Albert. Let's go to you, Albert. Switch it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's the 49ers at home. They're playing the Seahawks. They're only like, what's the Seahawks record now?
6-6
or 6-6. I mean, I don't think we really have to say much. It's gonna be like, I think it's gonna be like 42-21 49ers. The 49ers are just gonna be characteristic on offense and defense. Like they're gonna show up and they're gonna stay consistent and they're one of the best teams. I think they're like a top 3, maybe even top 2 team in the league, and they're gonna prove that by playing the Seahawks this Sunday.
That's fair. That's fair. Alex?
Well, man, I kind of agree with Albert there. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because Green Bay Seahawks have the same record right now. Seahawks,
You're like, please, I need to lose.
But all seriousness, though, I just think from top to bottom, San Francisco is just a better team. Not saying the Seahawks are a bad team. I don't think they are, but I mean, look at San Francisco, man. Just I agree with Albert with his final score prediction. I just think that the Seahawks they'll compete. They will compete.
Mm-hmm.
DK Metcalf is just built different. That dude doesn't make any sense. Like the way he moves and how huge he is, it's like a refrigerator running like I don't know, college. Like the dude's a freak athlete. Could probably play any sport he wanted to, really. But one dude just isn't enough, especially not to beat this 49ers team. And I'm gonna go with Albert. I think it's gonna be a pretty big loss for the Seahawks. I just don't see them competing much out of the first half, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair. I believe in my boys. I'll never let down on Seahawks, but I got to keep it real too. If our offense doesn't show up this week, then it's going to be pretty bad. But if our offense does show up, it'll be a pretty good game, and we'll kind of go from there. But I still think that Debo going to stand on business, and I feel like Mr. Purdy is not going to show up this week. Here's what he's going to do right here. Hand off CMC. Screen route Debo Samuel. Screen route Brandon Ayuk.
They're going to scheme up.
Touchdown.
That's simple.
Yep.
Call me what you want. I'm a Brock Purdy hater, certified. He is irrelevant. I don't care. I don't like Brock Purdy. He's overhyped. Relax. He's not him. If I was building a team and I had to pick a quarterback, Brock Purdy would be at the bottom of my list, respectfully. I seriously don't see him as even a top 5 quarterback, honestly. So look, let's go down the list. We got Herbo, out of order, obviously, out of order. We got Herbo, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. That's 3 right there. Well, Josh Allen, I'll take him over Brock Purdy. Freaking, give me one more person. Hell, I'll take fucking Kirk Cousins over him.
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, maybe not Tua, even though he did lose to Brock Purdy. But I think he would still put up a better quarterback-wise performance than Brock Purdy went if they face each other.
Wait, who?
I think Tua.
Tua? I'll take Tua too.
Yeah, I'd take Tua over, bro. I'd take C.J. Stroud, honestly. And I love Brock Purdy. But
Yep, that too. So
CJ.
look, we all in agreement. He's not even a top 5 quarterback. So why is he in the MVP conversation? He's not putting up crazy numbers. He's not doing anything crazy. I don't understand the hype behind this man. It's because of the goddamn super team he has around him, and everybody making him look good, man. It's ridiculous. I can throw fucking 2-yard fucking slant routes and freaking scream. Excuse my language. God, I was supposed to curse this podcast, whatever.
You're telling me not to. Look at you now. Look at you.
I'm sorry. I'm triggered. Okay, I'm triggered. But yeah, I don't. Nah, I don't. I don't see the hype behind Brock Purdy. I don't. He has to prove it to me one way or another. He has to prove it to me when he doesn't have Debo. But when he doesn't have a super team, pretty much, it's when you see how good a player truly is. Until that day comes, I will see it. Because when he didn't have his super team alongside of him, he looked like crap. Mm-hmm. So my ass is what he is. Looks like crap.
Hey, man, that's how I feel about Justin Fields. So, I just hate the Chicago Bears in general. They don't matter to me. I hate them so much.
Big Mama and Pop's not gonna like that one, but I'll let them deal with that. But yeah, I don't like Purdy, man. I don't. I'm sorry. Like I said, call me a hater, call me all of it. I don't care. I don't see the hype behind him. He is not him.
Well, for the Seahawks, it's normal to hate your rival. I mean, I hate Josh Allen. Like, if I was a team of if I was a fan of another team, I probably wouldn't hate Josh Allen that much. But, again, I'm a Dolphins fan. I hate them. And I'm going to say this. The Miami Dolphins right now, I think, in my opinion, are like one of the most consistent teams in the league. Now, y'all can say they haven't beaten a team over 500 yet this season, but they haven't lost to a team under 500 either. Because, I mean, they did lose to the Bills, which are now like 500, but like, I feel like Josh Allen is only good when he feels like it, in my opinion.
Exactly.
But
Mr. Inconsistent.
But I think they still have a good chance to compete. Like, they're not the team that they were before the bye week. I think this stretch they're gonna prove these next 5 something games they have left that they can compete. And right now they're in the 1 seed right now because Jacksonville did lose last night to Cincinnati. But I am gonna keep my prayers up for Trevor Lawrence because it was tough seeing him go down with that ankle sprain. I think he might miss a couple games. That's gonna cost the Jaguars a good bit. But Jake Browning might be one of the best backup QBs in the league, if not the best. I mean, well, he may have the weapons, but he still has that QB ability. Like, he has the ability to go outside the pocket, make a run, like kind of like what I listed with Brock Purdy. He has like nearly like the same abilities.
Yeah. That's fair. But boys, I think we'll wrap it up there. We are sitting at an hour and 8 minutes, so obviously a little bit overboard, but you know what? I had a good time. It don't matter to me. I don't give a shit. Respectfully.
It's okay. Yeah. If we bring up a topic, we're going to talk about it. Like, if it's something comes up like interesting, like I'm gonna ramble about it. I think this will make the podcast more interesting. It's like the more topics we bring up, the more interesting it is. More people are gonna watch it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of want to change the structure. We'll talk about that off the line. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, our beautiful viewers. I love you guys. This has been SportsCast Episode 4 with your boy Dre, your boy Alex, and your boy Albert. And we'll see y'all boys in the next episode. Y'all be safe. It's a crazy world we live in. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. We'll see y'all next time. All right, we're good.